Namaskar friends, welcome to Export Import Make in India campaign. And today in this session we will understand summary of the chapter 4 sourcing and pricing. So we already read this chapter and understand what is the sourcing and planning. So now in this session we will try to understand the summary of this chapter. So sourcing strategy deal with the planning, designing and building of reliable and competitive supplier base. Okay, so here we are talking about the strategy of sourcing. Sourcing means procurement from supplier. So that process have some elements like a planning regarding that how to source, then designing what need to be quality for that procurements, then building a reliable competitive supplier. Okay, so here we need to check out whether who is the competitive supplier which will provide it reliable service at low cost and best services. Okay, and then determine the strategy for the procurements, defining pricing strategy and supply chain requirements. So also need to understand where what is the pricing strategy regarding the supply chain requirement. Okay, so we also understand the sourcing is the entire set of business process required to procure goods and services. So sourcing is not only the process in which we are only buying the goods from the supplier, but here the entire set of businesses depend on that sourcing, because that the profit of the company is also the influenced by this factor is called sourcing strategy. So this is the sourcing strategy parts. Okay, in JIT, just in time manufacturer will frequently have only one supplier for the purchase parts, so that close relationship can be established with the less number of supplier. So in the JIT, the supplier are the single supplier that procurements and relationship that it make close relationship because the manufacturers depend on the single supplier. Okay, so single supplier can understand actually requirement, actually future planning, and the relationship and efficiency to enhance the business. So relationship established with a less number of supplier. In this JIT, the supplier are very less. So the understanding between supplier and manufacturers be strong. Okay, so this method is very interesting in this case. Single sourcing is a method where procurement of goods and services is from more than one independent supplier. So we can understand the single sourcing where not only single supplier but the more than one. So the process of procurement is depend on the many sources. Okay, it used to sometime in a company to induce healthy competition between the supplier in order to achieve higher quality at lower pricing. So we can understand the number of suppliers are more than one. So procurement process depend on the multiplicities. So here we can understand the competition between supplier will give us competitive quality, competitive prices, and competitive services. So single sourcing is also important in this case. Outs- Outsourcing involve the contracting out of the business function commonly one previously performed in house to external provider. So outsourcing is the contracting process where the process can be higher with the third party or other company which already perform this activity in his house and provide to externally this service. So sometime you have heard about that some manufacturing process also outsources, like some shoes company of UK, manufacturing process is outsourced from India. So manufacturing done in India, then supply the shoes to domestic market. So here this is the outsourcing the manufacturing. Okay, so this is also the part of this summary of chapter 4, sourcing and pricing. क्या हो जा रही है? The third party logistic involved using external organizations to execute logistic activity that have previously performed within organization itself. So here third party is process where organization hire organization to execute the logistic activity with the third party. Third party is the external organization who will execute the logistic activity. Okay, so that one have a previously performed this activity in his organizations. Okay, so just like some person have a knowledge of handling logistic service in his company. Okay, and he is give very good output by this logistic activity. So now these facilities can sell to other organizations. So here who will buy this activity is called the buyer, and that who will the service provider is called third party logistic. So this is the also important activities third party logistic in summary of chapter 4. So we will understand the next activities. First, the first part, which is here. The first part of the supplier evaluation process is scoring of supplier. Scoring means score, giving the number to supplier. What is the performance? What is the term of delivery time? What is the lead time? And what is the quality of the supplied, pricing and service level? This can be scored by the process. Like you can score your supplier by giving and monitoring and analysis this factor. So this is the first by supplier evaluation process. Direct negotiation refer to exclusive negotiation between an agency and supplier without first undergoing a genuine competitive process. So in the multiple supplier, there is a process which called that negotiation and competitions, where number of suppliers provide the rate and service level. You need to choose better quality, service and price level. But in the direct negotiation process, there is directly negotiate with the agency through agency, and there is no competitive process in that. So this is also the another type of process which called direct negotiation process. Revenue management encompasses a wide range of opportunity to increase the revenue. So this is the process revenue management, where the opportunity supplier and manufacturer have a opportunity to increase the revenue. So this process predict the consumer behavior at the micro level market and the optimized product availabilities at the price maximize revenue growth. So at the ground level market, you can understand the consumer behavior, what kind of product consumer needs, what is the feedback towards the product by the consumer. So this thing can be analysis at the revenue management income phases in the process. Okay, so in revenue management process, you can understand and you can update your product as per requirement of your customer. So guys, in this session, we have tried to understand the summary of the chapter 4, sourcing and pricing. So guys, we are going to close this chapter here, sourcing and pricing, where we understood the summary of this chapter, and we also understand what are the process of sourcing and how to decide the pricing of the product. All the things we have understand by this chapter. So you can go to the playlist and watch one by one the videos which belong to chapter 4. So guys, thanks for watching the session. Have a nice day.